All right, good afternoon. That was such an amazing panel, the two before us. I just want to congratulate everyone and thank everyone that has chosen to spend their afternoon with all of us today. It's been amazing. My name is Daphne Bryson Jackson, and I have the pleasure of serving as the next moderator for General Session 3. The discussion today will be the value proposition of engineering-focused programs and curriculum. And so what we will do in the next 30 minutes or so is continue down the path that I think has already been started today. I think we've heard from some really amazing and amazingly bright professionals that are working in so many different fields in engineering and in medicine. But I think the common theme that we're seeing in all of it is, you know, it's hard work, it's believing in yourself, it's having a plan, and it's working it. And so I hope that the young people that are out there today are really taking full advantage of all of the wisdom that's being shared with them and all of the energy and all of the resources that are available to them as they begin to define and decide what's next for them in their careers. And so today we are excited to have with us two esteemed gentlemen who are going to share with you, their story, how they have gotten to where they are today, and what their role in the engineering world is. And so first, I'd like to introduce Michael Sutton. Michael is the President and Chief Executive Officer and majority owner of Infrastructure Engineering, Inc., IEI, which is a diverse, multidisciplinary consulting firm that focuses on the delivery of design engineering, program management, and construction engineering and inspection services. Mr. Sutton has over 40 years of experience with the study, design, and construction of roads, bridges, transit, utilities, parks, and other civil structures. He is the founder of Infrastructure Engineering Foundation, the philanthropic arm of IEI, as well as the Council of Black Architecture and Engineering Companies, CBAEC. Mr. Sutton is a graduate of Northwestern University, and he holds PE licenses in several states. We will welcome Mr. Sutton in a second. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Keith Hargrove. Dr. Hargrove currently serves as the Dean of the College of Engineering at Tennessee State University. He previously served as chairperson of the Department of Industrial Manufacturing and Information Engineering in the Clarence Mitchell Jr. School of Engineering at Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. Dr. Hargrove received his BS in Mechanical Engineering from Tennessee State University, his MS from the Missouri University of Science and Technology in Rolla, Missouri, and his PhD from the University of Iowa as a CIC, which is Committee on Institutional Cooperation Fellow. Dr. Hargrove was a Boeing Wellevel Faculty Fellow in 2008 and a Harvard Fellow for 2005 and 2006 with the Division of Engineering and Applied Sciences at Harvard University. He served as assistant to the Dean and Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering at Tuskegee University. Dr. Hargrove has conducted research projects with Swarovski Aircraft, Boeing, the United States Navy, NASA, and the United States Army in systems engineering, design, cybersecurity, and manufacturing. He is a certified manufacturing engineer, an associate member of the Society of Manufacturing Engineers, Institute of Industrial Engineers, ASEE, and the Tennessee Society of Professional Engineers. So it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Michael Sutton and Dr. Keith Hargrove to share their presentations. Michael?
Okay. My name is Michael Sutton, President of Infrastructure Engineering, and really happy to be here today. I listened to all the presentations, and the presenters and panelists is just outstanding. And I'm very, how can I say, I'm very grateful to be part of this presentation. Again, my journey into engineering began when I was a child. Let me see. And would you move on to the next slide, please? You see that little boy up there in that picture? I went to Carver Elementary School. I believe I was in about the 3rd or 4th grade when 2 Black architects attended my elementary school. I didn't know anything about architecture. And they showed us plans, they showed us a model of a house or something. And, I was just sitting in the back of my class, just, taking it all in. And that day, I said to myself, I want to become an architect. And the way my life unfolded was, well, when I was a kid, even before they came to the school, I remember when I was a little boy, my mom bought me Tonka trucks and toy bulldozers, and I'm sitting in the play lot and with the sand and the dirt, and I'm playing with my toys, and I love that, right? And I still love that today. So that's how I guess you can say the seed was planted in me from those 2 Black architects. And they may not even know today that they touched a young boy in an elementary school that has gone on to become an engineer. So, so next slide, please. I guess I can tell you a little bit about my high school background too before I get into my transition to civil engineering. In high school, I went to I'm from Chicago, from the south side of Chicago. I grew up in public housing. And so in high school, I had to take a test to go to this selective school. And I found out that I was selected to go to the school, and my mother, I really didn't even want to go because it was so far from my house. It was like a 2-hour commute from my house. I had to get on the bus like at, to just be at my 8 o'clock class. I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get on the bus at 6. But so I got enrolled in this Lindblom Technical High School. And my major in high school was architecture, drafting, and design. And so now, I'm going to tell you some other stories. You don't have to be perfect. I don't think I was the brightest student. I do not think I was the best student overall. In high school, I was a father at 16 years old. My daughter was born in April. I made 17 in June. But that was also a wake-up call for me, having a kid in high school, because my mom, she said, I went to her and I said, what am I going to do? She said, I want you to be a man. And of course, I didn't really fully understand what that means. I couldn't even take care of myself, less than anybody else. But then I really got my act together, right? I said, okay, I got to take care of somebody else. I need to get a job. I need to make some money. And so I really got serious about school, about my grades. And I did very well on the SAT tests and the ACT tests. I don't even know what my grade point average was in high school. I applied to 3 I applied to 3 colleges, and I got accepted at all 3 of them. And the one that I really wanted to go to was Northwestern University. And when I went to, I had to go to them to interview. They wanted to interview me, and so I went up there. And I say, do you have an architectural school? Because I didn't do any research about, did these schools have architectural departments and all. I was not that sophisticated, right? So when I went up to Northwestern, they said, no, we don't have an architecture school. I say, okay, what is the closest thing you have to architecture? And they said, engineering. I said, sign me up. So I signed up. I struggled. I really, really struggled in college. And my grade point average when I graduated from college was like, I needed a 2.0 to graduate. My grade point average was 2.10. So do you have to be perfect? No. Do you have to have a willingness to work? Yes. One of the things that I did when I was in college was I knew it was going to be difficult. I went to the library every night. After I had dinner in the student hall, I would go straight to the library from 6 to 12 o'clock at night. And that was, I guess you can say that was my pattern for Monday through Thursday. I didn't go on Friday because, you know, that's when my friends and I were together. And so anyway, I see Daphne. So let me move on to the next slide. Or so anyway, so that was my transition to civil engineering. So next slide, please. These are all the things that you do in transportation, in civil engineering. I'm a transportation engineer. And so these are some of the wonderful projects, the bridges, the roadways, the tunnels, the intersections. I've worked on just about all these projects to one extent to another. So, and then again, in transportation engineering, what do you consider doing design? Speed, safety, congestion, sight distance, rainwater, loads, forces, access. So next slide, please. Creating wealth, becoming again, when I was in college, I used to read the Black Enterprise magazine from cover to cover. I used to read the advertisements and all the stories and everything. And I pretty much knew that if I really wanted to become wealthy, that avenue would be in business. So I had that understanding. But you don't have to exactly own a business to become wealthy. You could become what they call an entrepreneur within a company. And what I would say, if you're working for a company, then the things that you want a good salary, excellent salary. You want great bonuses, and you want stock options. And that is the way that you create wealth working. Of course, you got to calculate the risk in all that you do. Next slide. All right. Transition to ownership. Acquired firm in 1997, started with 2 employees, rebranded name to Infrastructure Engineering, grew from 2 to 100 employees, have multiple offices in Chicago, Indianapolis, Peoria, and New York. And we're also about to open up an office in Detroit, New Jersey, and also LA. Won a lot of high profile projects. We recently won a project in New York, a $30 million project where we're the prime consultants. We're the lead consultant on it. Other projects that we worked on is Maggie Daley Park, Chicago River Walk, Jackson Park improvements, and the Obama Presidential Centers. My firm is the lead transportation firm for all the roadways around the Obama Presidential Center. It's a really nice project. The construction value of that project that we're doing is about $150 million. Next slide, please. Let me see. Our corporate office, 1 South Wacker Drive, which is in Chicago. It's the building with, you know, the nice little shiny things on it, those 2 little shiny stars. What you see here on this slide is our core values: integrity, excellence, and innovation. And so this is our, so next slide, please. IEI Philanthropy. Let me see, I believe in giving back. Again, I started off, I know what being poor is like and not having enough resources is like. So I'm very generous in what we give back. Matter of fact, I'm even criticized sometimes by even some of my other owners and people within the company and all that type of stuff. But I believe in helping others because that is how I made it. People have helped me and people are still helping me. Some of the things that we do: scholarship, internships, local school outreach, food pantries, social services, social justice, COVID relief, AEC industry, philanthropic endeavors. Next slide, please. Why consider civil engineering? We help others lead healthier and safer lives. We do both work indoors, inside and outside, office work. If you excel in math and science classes, you should consider engineering. Job security, engineers are always needed. I've never been unemployed, only by choice. And last but not least, it's awesome. I love civil engineering. I love being an engineer. How much do civil engineers make? It depends on the field, but for civil engineering, entry level start at 65,000 to 75,000. Middle management is 100 plus. Experienced professionals is 100 plus. Executives make 150,000 plus. Bonuses varies and stock options. Give you an idea. Use your imagination. So again, I wrote a book in which I copyrighted. It's called Imagination, the Key to a Better Future. What my advice to you is love what you do, strive for excellence, take pride in your work, and stand firm in who you are, in your heritage and community. And last but not least, actor Chadwick Boseman. He recently passed, and the movie Black Panther even excited my imagination. But he says, when you are deciding on your next steps, next jobs, next careers, you should rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. That was awesome. I'm hoping that people are putting their questions for you in the chat room. And I would like to now turn it over to Dr. Hargrove for his presentation. Keith? Okay. All
Greeting.
right. There's Keith. You're up, buddy.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. And also a special acknowledgement to the presentation by Mr. Sutton. That I want to say to you, sir, I am really, really appreciative of sharing your story of with the challenges that you faced as a teenager and now owner and entrepreneur of a major engineering company. So kudos to you, sir. Highest admiration. Certainly a fantastic role model. So I want to say welcome to everyone. I too have been really encouraged by the past presentations from Dr. Churchwell and others, Ms. Horton, Dr. Horton and others about as we promote the message about the need and desire to increase the number of underrepresented groups in science, technology, engineering, and math. I serve as Dean of a College of Engineering here at Tennessee State University. And there are about 350 or so engineering programs across the country. And within those colleges, at those institutions is where you can pursue a degree in one of, I think, about 17 different engineering disciplines. Mr. Sutton went to an outstanding university, Northwestern University, and did focus in architecture and civil engineering. And that's just one of many different programs that one can pursue. Civil engineering actually is the first engineering, recognized as the first engineering program. And so the theme has also been about, how do you become an engineer? And so very quickly, even for myself, my intentions as a young teenager, believe it or not, was nowhere near about becoming an engineer. In fact, I wanted to become an attorney. God rest his soul. My goal was to become the next Johnny Cochran. But when I got to college and did pretty well in mathematics in terms of testing in the early 80s, the career focus there was engineering is the career of the future. So I changed from pre-law, went into mechanical engineering, and been very blessed ever since. But I will tell you also, as I reflect back on my own experience, and I say to the many students that are on the call, as well as professionals, there is this myth that to become an engineer, certainly in the circles today, that you have to be brilliant in math, a whiz in math, right? And just absolutely love chemistry and physics. And all that is good if you do. Certainly that reinforces a passion for that. But I'm here to tell you that, no, you don't have to be brilliant in math. You don't have to be a whiz in mathematics to do that, because I wasn't. In fact, if I told you what my ACT score was, you would be shocked by being in the teens. But that wasn't a reflection of my desire to learn. That wasn't a reflection of my discipline and my effort. And so, 5 degrees later, including going to Harvard University, I didn't let a low ACT score be an obstacle in terms of what I was capable of by attending Tennessee State University, an HBCU, and basically unleashing an unknown potential that I had within myself. And that experience here allowed me to do that. And so what I say to a lot of high school students, and even my own students in my college, that, put in the time, effort, and discipline in your particular program, you can succeed in getting your engineering degree. And so I continue to promote that even in my role as Dean of Engineering, when I'm recruiting to my 900 plus students in the engineering programs here in the College of Engineering at Tennessee State University, that becoming an engineer is more about discipline. It's also about putting the effort and being committed and dedicated as well. So let me just say, with regard to a backdrop of the profession of engineering, and you've had some presentation about what is engineer and kind of how you can become an engineer. So currently, the United States produces about 140,000 engineers per year. That's nationally. However, I would say that the demand for engineering in terms of occupations and jobs is probably around 250,000 a year. So therefore, obviously you see there's a supply-demand factor right there. Even with the production of 440,000 engineers per year, the number of jobs that are available far exceeds that. So that makes it a great opportunity to pursue any of the degrees in engineering, but basically STEM in general. In fact, when you rank the top 10 best jobs in the US, the top 10 jobs, the top 10 best jobs. Seven of them are in the STEM area, whether it's engineering, whether it may be even nursing, whether it be a computer analyst. 7 of the top 10 are in the STEM discipline. And so let me just say, make a couple comments on the pathway to becoming an engineer. So we have some students that are on the call, and they may be majoring in physics, they may be majoring in biology, and certainly there are some those that are in engineering. And even all those disciplines, they too can end up working in an engineering or technical environment. And so one pathway obviously is you go to college, you choose your major, get a Bachelor of Science in electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. Another pathway is you may go to a community college and take 2 years of a pre-engineering program and then transfer to a 4-year college and complete a engineering degree in one of those disciplines. So that's also possible. And so in addition to that, even if you are currently a biology or physics major or chemistry major, and you're pursuing that bachelor's degree, you may be also still interested in engineering and may get a degree in engineering at the graduate level, of course, taking some undergraduate courses as a foundation, but it's still possible that you can get an advanced degree in the engineering field. I mention that in terms of pathways because of the consortium that is hosting this conference currently has established a MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, with 4 outstanding liberal arts programs. And those institutions are Payne College, Fisk University, Lemoyne-Owen, Payne, Fisk, Lane College, and Lemoyne-Owen. And this is led by Meharry Medical College. And so students that are at these outstanding liberal arts colleges, as they pursue a STEM-related degree, such as chemistry, biology, or physics, we currently have implemented a joint partnership, Tennessee State University and the College of Engineering, with these 4 outstanding institutions. And so you have an opportunity, if you are a student at any of those 4 schools, that you can also take and enroll in courses at Tennessee State and pursue an engineering degree. And so that option is available for students at those schools, and there is some financial support for that as well. And so for the engineering programs that are within the College of Engineering at Tennessee State University, all 4 of the liberal arts colleges have an opportunity to pursue a degree in engineering as well as satisfy the requirements to obtain your chemistry, your biology, or physics degree as well. So a lot of credit goes to the consortium for this project, and we're excited about initiating that project this academic year, and we seek to recruit and look for students who are part of that. And so let me end on the note that as we promote the need to increase more minority students in the discipline, only about 4.3% of those that graduate in engineering are African Americans. The desire to increase more is going to require a collective effort of all of us. This MISIP grant is fantastic, but all hands on deck as we do more and more to produce graduates in this field of engineering and STEM in general. And so on that note, thank you so much for listening, and look forward to answering some questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hargrove. Again, to you and to Mr. Sutton, You both have been such inspirations. I think your words speak volumes. I think you shared a lot that I think good food for thought. And I'm big on words, and so I picked up 2 words that I want to just kind of repeat to the young people that are listening. Mr. Sutton talked about help, and he, for him to get to where he is today, someone helped him, and he certainly is paying it back and paying it forward by helping others. And with you, Dr. Hargrove, your word was options. And I think that young people need to understand how many amazing options exist in these fields that we're talking about. And shame on them. I wish I were young today. I wish I were coming along now, because I tell you, it's amazing the world that is wide open to all of these young people. And so thank you to both of you. Let's start taking some questions. I see we have one in our chat room. Mr. Sutton, it's for you. It says, are there opportunities for internships with your company? If so, how do people contact you, or how do they apply?
Yes, yes, there are opportunities for internships within our company. And the way to apply, I would say, visit our website, www.infrastructure-eng.com. And you can apply through the website, or you can contact me personally. My email address is msutton@infrastructure-eng.com.
Awesome. Okay, I don't see any other questions in our chat room. So I'm going to ask a couple that I had, and if anyone else wants to chime in, please type them into the chat room. So one of my questions is, and since both of you are coming, in this space really from different lanes, what are the trends you're seeing today that you think will drive, the engineering and STEM communities in the next 5 years?
You want to take that one?
I'll make a couple of comments. So obviously, the trends in emerging technologies, whether it's artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, these technologies is expanding the industry as well as different occupations. Someone said that, about 50% of the jobs today, may not exist in the next 50 years, and different roles, different positions will be developed. And so from a trend standpoint, I predict that STEM jobs will continue to expand, which implies that not everyone has to become an engineer. There are a lot of people that are graduating with engineering degrees that are not necessarily doing engineering jobs. You can have an engineering degree and work in computers, whether it's programming or computational or quantum computing, and a lot of other areas. And so the 3 trends that I see is one, how IT and data science and analytics is transforming every industry that you can think of. Number 2, the jobs that are opening right now are in some way or shape or form involves cyber security in a number of ways in with regard to how you protect information. And then third, I would say, how do we get today's youth, and some of the other speakers talked about that, how do we get K-12, promote STEM education, even our colleges and universities working with outstanding engineering companies like with Mr. Sutton, how do we do a better job expanding, promoting, and get a larger pipeline to pursue those degrees?
And I can give you another perspective. I can't see myself. Even though I turned on the video, I cannot see myself. I don't know what is happening.
We see you.
Okay, that's good, as long as you can see me. I got another perspective too. I was not a big proponent of work from home. I'm old school, right? You know, I come up, and COVID-19 has really, uh, again, I don't wish for COVID-19 to ever happen, right? But it has happened. And now that it has happened, I'm thinking from an entrepreneur standpoint, I can open up offices any place in the world. People can work from home. I don't have to have expensive office space. I need employees, but I do not have to have offices. The offices could be home. We're finding that we're working very, very well collaboratively through the technology that exists today. If COVID-19 would have happened 20 years ago, we would not have Zoom. We would not have cell phones,
Right.
even computers and stuff. We would not be equipped to do the things that we're doing today. And so, in a way, I'm somewhat very excited about the opportunities that has presented itself from this pandemic. And so, I'm looking at ways how now, how can I leverage this technology in creating a regional firm, a national firm, and possibly an international firm.
Wow, that's exciting. I'd like to bring in our esteemed leader, Dr. Patricia Matthews Juarez, to see if she has any questions for you two gentlemen. I'm sure she does. I see she's on. I don't see her. She's coming.
Yes. Hi, how are you, Dr. Jackson?
I'm wonderful.
A very exciting session with Mr. Sutton and Dr. Hargrove. I think that the one question that I would have is that if young students are interested in entrepreneurship and they wanted to be innovators, how would they start their resume? Some of the students may not have created a pathway initially that they were doing robotic building, or they were not creating structures, and they weren't internships, they may not have had internships in places of business. What would you say to those students? And this is for both of you. How would they start? How would they begin to create the pathway towards entrepreneurship and engineering?
So very quickly, let me say that at Tennessee State University and many other universities, they have developed entrepreneur clubs and organizations for engineering students and others who have an entrepreneur mindset to start businesses. In fact, we work with the College of Business here at Tennessee State, and we host an entrepreneur design event with the College of Business. So the good thing is for current students at your respective universities to make sure that whether it's the College of Business or whatever that's on your campus, have a entrepreneur organization that promote you developing a product or delivering a service, and then hopefully you can take that commercially, which, you know, everything about doing a business plan and finding capital and all those things, you can get trained and practice at the particular university. And I think Mr. Sutton has excellent background to, you know, how about, you know, once you have the experience, how do you monetize your knowledge and your skills by being an entrepreneur and starting your own company?
Yes, thank you.
And I'd just like to say to back up Dr. Hargrove is exposure. And that's exactly what he was talking about, is exposure. And entrepreneurship is not easy. It's one of the most difficult things I have done. And you got to have a lot of preparation. And so I would say, as Dr. Hargrove said, exposure and knowing what you're getting into. And and just the desire, here I am at the age that I am, and I'm still talking about creating a national firm, international firm. Just like Martin Luther King, I have a dream. I have a vision, I have goals, and I just hope that I'm able to achieve, I have achieved my goal somewhat, but I haven't got to the national firm yet. I haven't got to the international part yet. And so that still drives me, that still motivates me. So you got to have something that motivates you, that drives you, that gets you up in the morning. And one of the things that get me up in the morning is opportunities and possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you so much.
That's excellent. So we have just a few more minutes remaining, and I have one question in the Q&A session. It reads, I have heard that there are some medical doctors that have majored during undergrad in non-traditional areas, such as English or philosophy, and go on to become doctors. Is that possible when you're going on to become an engineer in an attempt to have a higher GPA?
Well, from a education standpoint, to become a true engineer requires you to have an engineering degree. So I want to be very clear about that. In fact, being recognized as an engineer like Mr. Sutton, that PE at the end of his name is a registered professional engineer, just like a MD with regard to being certified to practice in that field. So for those that want to become an engineer, I encourage them to look at engineering programs at different universities and obtain that degree if the desire is to become a practicing engineer.
Dr. Hargrove, when I think about it, become a doctor, they will accept just about anybody with any type of degree, right? In medical school or law school. But an engineer, we have to get that engineering degree at the university level, at the bachelor's level, before we can even go to the master's level, because of all the prerequisites and stuff that you need, to become an engineer. So it's really interesting that, someone can graduate in English and become a lawyer. Someone can graduate in English and go to med school. But to become an engineer, basically, if you didn't do it in undergrad, you would have to do so many courses that you would have to take, undergraduate courses, before you can even go to the master's program or the PhD program. So it's a different track in a way. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
We've got 1 minute.
Well, that is true. And so just to confirm that, to become an engineer requires you to satisfy an engineering curriculum, yes, and graduate with a degree. And so, in the industry, there are some people who claim to be engineers, maybe in terms of function, but in terms of satisfying the requirements that's necessary. So on behalf of Mr. Sutton, thank you so much for this opportunity. And thank you for our moderator. Absolutely. And the opportunity to be on this conference.
It's been my pleasure. I hope everyone has a great rest of the conference. And Dr. Matthew Juarez, thank you as well for your leadership.
Thank you so much.
Signing off. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.